Welcome to the Town of Darien Sewer Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, January 7th. Calling the meeting to order at 4:32 p.m. in room 206 of Town Hall. First item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes from December 3rd.
Caught one little nit on page 7 of 8. It should be ADU instead of AHU. Number H. lower.
Page 7 of 8. How far down?
Oh, ADU. Oh, yeah.
In H?
Yeah.
It should be
ADU instead of
Accessory
AHU.
dwelling units.
It could be ADU.
Yeah, accessory housing unit.
Accessory housing units.
You see that, the lower part on H, Jared? Second line, third line?
Second line.
Oh, right, it's in the first
AHU,
line and the
it
third
should be-
line.
I think it's ADU,
Oh my
but, you know,
Accessory.
in acronym world, you
I didn't
could be
realize
just
there was
as
two
right with
pages of my
AHU.
rattling
Accessory housing
on
unit.
one.
U. Change
Yeah,
that.
I'm out of
Okay.
that word.
Any other comments on the minutes?
No, I'll make a motion with that amendment.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, minutes are adopted. Now on to a few sewer user fee appeals. We're going to start with 7 Old Stone Road, Miss Joan Kiplinger. If you would come and just announce yourself for the record.
Joan Kiplinger, 7 Old Stone Road.
Okay. And that is, oh, that's not that one. Bob, do you have thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we need information following the leak. The date of the invoice is 10/26, excuse me.
10/16.
10/16, and I didn't see months following that.
So, okay, it's 10/16/20,
24.
2024, it's just not on there, I guess it just got cut off. So we don't have the resultant water bill to indicate that the usage has now gone back down.
I
Correct.
have my last 2 water
Oh,
bills.
let's see
Oh,
it.
you do?
Yep.
That's exciting.
So they went down, I mean, kind of calling me stupid. I didn't realize that the water consumption was tied to my sewer bill.
Yes.
So I did see water bills inching up.
They went down.
Yes, dramatically, once
Oh,
the
yeah,
plumber
yeah.
came and
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my.
can see your 2022s
Yeah, okay.
are like.
down to
that's
$17 now.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it goes back to them. And so this was leak and crawl space from old irrigation system.
That
was
I didn't even
probably
know I had.
Not going into the sewer, so it says, heir to the throne, Robert Booth Jr.
If he hadn't gone digging, I never would have
Here, Bob.
realized.
Oh,
All right, having
so
seen that the
with
leak
that
has been
new
prepared.
information,
Yep,
I will make the motion for an amended bill of, wait a minute, $291.43, which is the minimum.
Now, I paid that? Is that a one-time charge or 2-time?
well, first we got to vote.
Oh, sorry.
And then these guys will get you an amended bill.
Thank you.
And you can hold off on paying until you receive the amended bill, and then pay it when you get it. Okay, we have a motion to reduce the, to grant the appeal and reduce the charge to the minimum, $291.43. The sewer leak was not going down, or the water leak was not going down the sewer, it was going into the dirt and mold crawl space. We have a first by Bob, a second by Reese. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, appeal is granted, thank you very much. And thank you for being prepared with the extra information.
B.
All right, we're going to move on to 3B, 11 Silver Lakes Drive, Matthew Benzin.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. I don't know, is it afternoon or evening yet?
Early evening.
Early evening, late afternoon, whichever you'd like to call it.
Okay. Da-da-da-da. Toilet is leaking. It starts.
Question,
Yes, sir.
do you have either a pool or an irrigation system?
We do have an irrigation system.
You do?
Yes. Not a
Okay.
pool.
Okay.
Was it put in last year?
Or was it
No,
in use?
it was put in, I think it was October of '22.
Yeah, 22 and 23 are wet, so you may have not irrigated
You may
as
not have
much.
had to irrigate.
Yeah.
So we're looking at September and October, and you have quite a bit of water use.
For
Were
which
you
year?
irrigating? 23.
for 2023.
That could be the
That could
leak,
be, that could be
could be the running
irrigation.
toilet.
Was that the running toilet or was
The
that?
running toilet, I think, was more towards the, kind of the middle of that winter,
February,
23,
March
24. And then I got the toilet fixed in June, once I realized there were like two skyrocketing aquarium bills,
Mhm.
and I realized something was wrong, and that's when I fixed it.
Yeah, the February and the March ones.
Well,
Okay.
February,
Well,
March, April, May, and June are all.
Yeah, those 5, yeah.
So would you guys agree that the year earlier, the 2023 bill, it wasn't leaking? Because you had 7, 12,
Yeah, I
6,
would say.
13, 6?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm saying. It looked to me like
Yeah.
it started in
Yeah,
January.
once you get it out of the teens.
Yeah, we had the
in
irrigation
winter,
the year before, so
you probably got the-
year-over-year usage should have been somewhat similar.
But it wasn't. It was
Or-
vastly different.
I mean, I'm just saying for the irrigation should have been similar. The aquarium bills are vastly
Although,
different.
yeah, I mean, the end.
Aquarium bills are vastly different because of the leak.
Just trying to figure out when the toilet started leaking.
That's a tough one.
It is
Yeah,
tough, because
yeah.
November and December look very similar. It's January that seemed, assuming that the September and October of '23 was irrigation.
No, I'm imagining it's not leaking until
Wait a
February or
minute,
March.
I have my water thing.
When
What's
it's
the rain in
21?
September?
I think I
Yeah,
don't have that.
exactly. That's like
So
the
September
first
of
time it's
So
in.
do you-
2023, we had 10 inches of rain, so you probably weren't irrigating.
Yeah.
September of 2023.
Only because I've just done all the rain.
Yeah, I'd have to look at my app on that one.
That's, I think that's reasonable.
Or would you want to take last year's and do this year's rate? Let's see the difference. What's
It's
the
not
10,
much.
11, 15?
Do you have a version? Bob?
Yeah,
Of-
Bob, what's your version?
Of what, I didn't know he had an irrigation system, so my calculations
Oh,
are
okay, you
completely
would-
out of this,
Okay.
out of the realm.
All right.
Okay.
I've got
But
the
if you,
calculator
if you,
going.
if you're saying take last year's number and this year's rate, it's 795 even.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did come up with that. too.
And so then the other option would be to annualize November, December, and January, which would be
Oh.
36 times 4 times, what is it, 7?
36 would be 12, 144 times
144.
750.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button for the decimal place. There we go. Got my normal calculator. So last year's rate, it would be 1080 for this year. I think last year makes more sense now that this is fixed. And looking at some of the numbers for November and December that we now have in this presented water bill, much
Yeah.
lower than the
Yeah,
teens.
yeah, so go with the
Last year's numbers.
106.
Yeah.
So we have a bill of 795.
Is that a
Now,
motion?
does that give credit to us for some of the water that went down the drain?
Yeah, I'm looking at the leak starting in February, when we get up into the 20s, and ending by June. That's 5 months, so.
We haven't had that discussion of.
Well, we
well,
did have
No,
a
we-
discussion.
Is
We
it
did,
3 months
but
or 6 months?
I'm, after last month's meeting, I would be willing to have it again because my number's not the same.
Oh, what's your number?
My number's half, because if you're not gonna do rollover, then we can't keep losing. We're losing too much. We need to shorten our. window.
Oh, the number of
Because of
months.
a year rollover, it becomes just bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what would you?
I mean, 90 days is a long time. I mean,
Yeah, but you're not getting the bill until 45 days into that 90 days. Yeah, you're getting your first water bill 45 days into that 90 days.
The higher one.
Yeah.
okay.
So there's a lag of 45 days, you're saying, from
Yeah,
construction.
before you even
element
have,
to jump.
yeah, construction element. And this one
Well,
kind of
it's
was
not-
tweaked, this one was kind of
Yeah.
coming up, creeping up slowly, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have good hearing and I notice these things in my house, so. I'm definitely not the person to ask on this
What
one.
we're
but-
talking about, just to keep you informed, right, is that ultimately when a toilet is running, the water is going down into the sewer system. We're paying to, pump it and maintain it, and we pay Stanford to treat it. So we have costs.
Yep.
We try to operate in a way where we are understanding of anomalies. But we also believe that there needs to be some homeowner responsibility when that's happening. So this is the debate we're having. We're
Sure.
kind of on a fine tooth comb here.
Yeah.
So what is the number of months that you would be comfortable with in terms of a grace period?
Okay, if you're gonna put me like that, a third of the year.
4 months,
Yep,
okay?
a third of it. I'm saying a third of the year. I'm not saying 4 months. I'm saying it's a third of the year.
I'm sorry, what
I
am I
know it's
missing?
I know it's the same physically, but semantically it's not.
Okay.
February comes into play.
Yeah,
Count the big months.
Where's it?
yeah, we count days.
I'm just saying semantically, when
Okay.
there's,
Feels like
you
a
can describe
substantial
it the
period of
same way,
time.
but it's, yeah, I mean, a third of the year.
Peter, do you have an opinion as in terms of the length of an appropriate grace period?
Well, I don't know, it kind of, if you were to apply a third of a year, that sounds like plenty of time to me
Okay,
to find out.
Reese?
I mean, I'd love to set a sort of guidelines going forward on something like that concept and codify it.
Yeah.
Because it would make this kind of easier for shared
Would.
responsibility.
And I would agree with
Yeah.
4 months.
Okay.
Is that the same as a third of a year?
Doesn't necessarily-
We're gonna Google that later.
Yeah, that's for our next meeting, we're gonna debate that.
You need AI that.
So where would you come out on this, Bob, so that we can? sort
I
of-
didn't
Yeah, well,
I
so
didn't
then-
do it. I would
What'd
have to
you
do,
come
I,
up with?
Well,
because
if
I
we're
would
saying
have
the
to do it again.
consensus is the third of the year, that takes, I'm using this piece of paper that was handed to us. So it takes these 4 off the table, or that puts them in the grace period. Right, I guess you could go, well, when does the league start? That's my question.
I would say February.
I would tend to agree. That's the first time you're up above that
20.
20 in any of these winter months.
So that's 4 months.
Yeah,
So we were in the grace period
I think it's, well, that would total 5.
then, ish,
Yeah,
if you count the 21.
yeah,
Throw that out and just do, once it hits the 21 threshold,
yeah, that's, yeah,
you're close.
yeah. So we're
So Bob,
arguing over.
would you be more comfortable if you'd annualize the 10, 11, and 15 and came up with a bill of 1,080? It's $200 higher, 200.
No, actually, I think it's, if you do it, it's actually slightly less, because let me think, it'd be 48 divided by 2, because they're only paying for half after that.
Oh, I
So it'd
see.
be 24,
Split
and then
difference.
if you annualize the 106, it's 8.8 a month, so it'd be 24 minus 9, because it'd be
Okay, I see
1
what's
month.
going on.
So it'd be 15 times, so it would be an additional 15 times 750 would be their share.
Of what went down the drain.
Over-
That's what we're talking
Over
about.
the 800
Yeah,
bucks.
yeah.
over the-
Over the 795.
I can't get my handle on
15
this
times-
decimal place.
750 equals 112.50.
Okay, so 112.50 plus 795.
Yep. So that's
Okay,
what?
it's 907.50.
907.50, yeah.
So you're
Okay.
splitting the difference almost, okay.
For
Well,
the-
no,
for the-
after,
for the fifth
after
month.
4 months,
Yeah.
it becomes a
I get it.
50/50 deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I have heard, I think, a motion to grant an appeal
To
to
an amended bill of
907.50.
907.50.
And the logic behind that was that we apply a grace period of 4 months between February and May. And then we
Cost
take the
share.
June charge, cost share it, add it to last year's usage.
Well, we cost share it, which is, takes it down, and then we minus the amount that they're paying in the 795
Yes.
per month
Yes.
out of that, so it comes down to the number, then we times that times 750 to get their share.
Do you know how to write that, Darren?
795 plus 115.50.
112.50.
112.
Yes.
907.50.
So we have a motion on the floor to grant the appeal down to 907.50.
And that was-
Do I have a second?
Bob.
Commissioner
That's
Hill?
Bob.
Yeah.
Do I have a
I will
second?
second. No.
Okay, Susan seconds.
Yep.
Any further discussion on the motion? You understand.
I understand, yes.
There's no quiz in the morning.
I was expecting one, so.
All those in favor? Okay,
Okay.
have a good
Great,
evening.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, next sewer user fee appeal is 21 Lewarden Road, Dawn and Henry McIntyre. Anyone representing Dawn and Henry McIntyre here this evening?
It's actually easy if you look at
Okay.
Yeah.
205.
No brainer.
Well, can I ask, do you routinely, I mean, have we ever seen an appeal for a prior year? They're not appealing this year, they're appealing the prior year.
We've done multi-years before.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Back 2 years.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
checking. I'm like,
Yeah, I
this
believe-
isn't this year, this isn't last year.
Yeah, I believe there was a lady on Behringer who did
Okay.
years and
Yeah, this
years.
seems pretty reasonable to me. So, do I have a motion?
I would make a motion that we give them an amended bill for $274.34, which is the minimum for the bill year 23-24. Excuse me, 22-23,
274?
274.34.
274.34.
Okay. A second on the motion? I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay.
Does that mess you guys up with budget stuff going back former year? Not you guys, but Ed, does that mess you up? Well, you cash accounting or you? Okay, all right. Whatever, when the check comes in is when you. There'll be a little red after.
Since it's, since it's the sewer fund, and the type of accounts are there, it's, what am I looking for?
There's a buffer.
I'll think of it later as we're talking.
That's right. Contingency.
Everything's in a big pot. Unlike here where operating has their
Or
department.
you have to
at the
spend within a
end.
12-month period. Here, we have a fund that just kind of rolls over.
At the end, it's expenditures minus revenue.
Yeah, is it going up or down?
So it's sewer booty base.
Yes.
Money is money. 73 Christie Hill Road, Molly and Brody Van Wagenen. Anyone here representing the Van Wagenens? Okay.
I kind of understood it. I think, anyway.
Tell us about the
I
fire.
didn't understand.
I didn't, my back prohibits me from doing that anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, they were, I'm kind of confused on their appeal on 22-23. I have my own ideas about it, but I don't, I think what it is in November, they were using irrigation.
What's that?
So if you take the other four and annualize it, you come out with a yearly usage of 111 as opposed to 207.
Okay,
Times that times 7.06 and you get 783.66.
okay.
So just some updated information for you folks too, so you can, to go along with the 13 pages. We have in our OpenGov system noticed that on October of 2024, the property was disconnected from the sanitary sewer system.
Okay,
October 2024. Okay.
so that'll be for this year's bill.
That's for 24, 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with what we're looking at here.
Well, we're looking at both, right? We're looking at what should the bill be this year and what should the bill be last year, right?
And
They're
next
asking
year,
for-
24, 25 is next year.
Yeah.
They disconnected
Well-
it October of 24.
You're getting billed for your future use based on your past
Yeah,
use.
so the bills that are out now,
Yeah, so
Pay for the year.
For
I
this
would
year.
say,
Yeah,
doing it then, you pay 1/12 the minimum, to be honest with you.
well, if October is July.
Bill goes out the beginning, it's due the
No,
end.
but I guess the year starts
Oh,
July
July?
1, right?
No,
So it's July, August, September, October.
it's a
So
third of a year.
Oh, all right,
depending on how you look at it, it could be 4 months.
She was last year's date, projected forward.
that's fine, I have no problem being harassed.
Would the minimum be appropriate then?
A third of the minimum for this year.
Proportional minimum.
Well, they did use some.
Oh, wait,
4 months
don't we,
they used
what do
it,
we,
didn't
they're disconnected. So they're fully
They
disconnected.
did use it for 4 months.
I think, and
I
Dan, you
don't,
correct me.
I'm kind of confused how, the house was uninhabitable.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh,
Well, I
good
don't know.
point.
Disconnect.
Good point.
But they used it in
water-
23.
They
They
watered
have
the
for
line.
disconnected
They have
in
done
the
that.
past.
But the fire was
It's
this
been
year,
the minimum.
not, yeah.
But we,
Straight
Right,
line
that's what I'm
minimum.
saying, they used
No,
this
no,
water.
Based
now
on,
if they're-
based
oh,
on
if
Mr.
they're-
Hill's.
And I know we're paying for it,
We're
but that's how we
two
do
have
it.
and the
We're
privilege
two
to have the
But if you're
sanitary.
Looking at
disconnected, you don't have the right to have.
We're looking at the irrigation
Because to me, then you
usage,
have to pay a new connection.
49,
fee, or
22,
at least a
23,
permit.
right?
and then we're looking at whether or not they
We've done
even
it both ways.
deserve.
Okay.
Prorated
Or they should pay
All
anything.
irrigation.
It was when people had it.
All irrigation in November,
Literally
December,
didn't
January,
use it.
February,
I
the
thought
house
they had to
wasn't
pay the
burned?
minimum.
No. The house burned down after that, but
They didn't use it.
they did use this water last year.
Yes.
But they're not going to use any water this year because they are now disconnected from the sewers.
So then in 24, 25, they won't get a bill.
Well, that's not how we have traditionally done it. We have not charged people for using the sewer when they were not connected to the sewer system.
So you're saying they've connected?
When they
3 months?
reconnect, they'll pay a minimum
So
charge.
you're suggesting a third or 4 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite way of doing this, but it's the way we've done it in the past.
Yeah,
Okay, so take the minimum.
Because we don't, when they reconnect, we don't like go try and find a number.
Yes.
Which is really what we should, but we don't.
So 30% of the minimum.
a third, yeah.
I'm thinking a third of the year, so that would be a third. 33.3 feeding.
Divided by 3 is
$91.44.
What do you get?
$91.44,
Oh, I got 97.14. Why did I get
$274.90.
No, that's last year, so
Last
it's
year, sorry.
91.43.
97.14.
Oh,
So,
If you look at the very bottom of the cover page of that,
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I mean, it may be that someone takes 3 years to rehook up to the sewer. Maybe someone that never, like, if they're physically not hooked up, we're not charging. That's the way I look at
Because
it.
it can't go.
So if there's a fault in the logic, it's that when someone goes back to hook up again, is there a reasonable charge we should, should we base a charge on the average use, for instance, when they hook back up? Not, or one of the two, right? That would be,
Or the well rate.
I think, the mechanism to resolve, the addition in your head, if I could read it correctly.
Okay. You guys have been doing it a lot longer.
but
than
the
me.
argument's also there, if you disconnect, you pay a reconnection fee.
Is there a reconnection fee?
No, it's like, is it like a connection fee?
Oh, a connection fee.
Wow.
Don't drool about it.
Yeah, I think
Gotta be fair.
we're,
You have your
All right,
sewer,
so
you
we
gotta
have
thank you.
783.66 and 97.14?
is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, second. So we have a motion on the table to
Cam.
grant an appeal for the 2023
Who's
bill
second?
year down to 783.66 and
She
grant
made
an
it, I
appeal for the
second.
2024 appeal year down to 97.14. And first we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, unanimous.
You need the numbers there?
What was the amount? It was
Last year is 783.66. This year is 97.14.
Okay.
And the minutes are gonna be complicated with stuff.
I know, we're going real quick. All right,
Equals
we are
MC
done with sewer
squared.
user fee appeals.
Sometimes.
Who had the secretary?
Cam. Let's see, Cam Hutch. Cam Hutch.
That was the last one.
All right, agenda item number 4 is 5 Good Wives River Road for Kevin O'Neill.
I don't know what's going on.
What's going on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where the heck is your sewer at?
yeah, so we are currently on a septic system. We've been there on the septic since we acquired the house in June of 2014. We've been paying our annual sewer assessment each year. I believe it is approximately $1,500 billed every December. I came to my realization a couple of years ago that actually the sewer attachment point, if we were ever to need it, we do not have a legal right to access. It is at the end of our neighbor's property at 23 Goodwives River Road. As you can see, we're a rear lot behind 17 Goodwives River Road. And we have a driveway easement on the property north of us to access Goodwives River Road. But the sewer attachment point is at the end of driveway for number 23, and we have no, legal means of accessing that. So this is sort of.
Do you have rights
Over the
to
road.
install utilities over your driveway?
Well, I do not know that. My water comes in from Old Kings Highway, the house
Oh, wow.
north of us. It's shared with 3 homes. off the main there.
This is crafty.
Our electric utilities do come in through number 23, the yard of number 23. There's a pole in their yard that then comes into our property. But as I know it, I don't think there's anything that says I could
What's the easement language on the poles for the power that come into your property over the driveway? Did you ever look at that easement?
I do not know.
It may just be for power, but that would be worth looking at, to see if you have an implied easement in that same right of way.
Okay.
Right? Am I getting way out of bounds?
Uh,
You're more-
Well, I mean, I'd have to read the easement.
Yeah.
And
the driveway language.
I'm just trying to call this up.
So
Trying to
23,
see the-
23 run, their sewer, their pressure line runs down their driveway, 23?
They have an access point at the end of their driveway, number 23. Ours is right next to it.
Have they hooked it up yet?
They have not. No, they're on septic as well.
Oh.
When I first raised this with the sewers office, downstairs, they said, "Oh, we'll just talk to your neighbor. When you need to hook up, he'll want to go in on it with you and dredge one line or trench
Yeah.
one line."
That's where I was
which
headed.
sounds reasonable, but I
I
don't.
see.
They weren't excited?
If he's not, I haven't talked to my neighbor about it.
Come on, wine and cheese. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Here we go, got it, finally.
No, we have an amicable relationship, but it's I haven't raised it with him. I don't think he's gonna wanna
Well, that right now, that
compelled to tie in
connection,
when I need to tie in.
well, that connection, the connection point is in the right of way, and we put it in, and it belongs to us. We can decide what to do with the connection point, in broad terms, I think. It's how you get from point A to point B. Now, when was this sewer put in? Do we know?
2008-ish,
2008.
someplace in there.
So in order to use this, they have to put a pipeline.
We did see this on
pipeline
zoning.
down.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
it's-
remember this,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah.
2-inch.
Everyone
It's
got together
landlocked.
and-
So are we,
Oh, there's
So-
landlocked.
I guess, what's the question before us?
The
Do you want your money back?
property's landlocked,
Well,
and when we put the sewer lateral there, we put it there because the previous owner wanted us to put it. By the way, I'm Darren. I think we spoke on the phone a few times. When we
Okay,
first
yeah.
bought your property. So the previous owner asked us to put it there, and their thought was, as you mentioned, this other guy has a big, long driveway. Even if he didn't connect, what you could do is share a lateral up to that point, share the cost of getting both laterals in one trench, and then branch off to your house, and then if and when that guy wanted to continue, he could go from there, and he would already be halfway home.
all right, so
So,
what would my steps be then to just pave the way for this eventual need? Do I talk to him and see if he'd be
Yeah.
willing to
Right.
do that? And
Yeah.
if not, then what?
Well, what's
Do
I mean, it seems as, it would be just as feasible to use the access point, I guess, for 149?
Well, he doesn't have a right to go over their property either.
Well, he's got his driveway. That's where your driveway comes in, right?
My driveway comes in, yeah, I don't know that it would be even possible to put a line through my driveway. It kind of comes up and alongside a hill.
Might be more expensive
Yeah.
to do that
But
way.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a longer
pressure
run
sewer
for sure
shoulder.
than
It's
it
a
would be to.
E1,
Yeah, yeah,
so you could go.
yeah. But if there was a spot without rock and a spot with rock, which
No,
way would you
I'm
have?
not, I'm just saying that it's
Yeah.
not impossible.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a gravity line. It can go up and down because
Yeah.
it's going to be a force main.
So
Did
this-
you, did
this-
you say 23 wants to put it in a,
No, we don't know.
No,
No.
We know
We don't
nothing.
know.
We know nothing about what any neighbors want to do.
Yeah, no.
So Darren, if we did this access to number 5 up on the, here, or it's called out, would that be a hot tap into the
Yes.
pressure line? And you just wouldn't use the lateral that's provided?
Yes,
Or, okay,
you would have to just leave that lateral there, or
so it's like we did on.
if we were nervous about it, go
On
back and
Neck
count.
On
Long
Long Neck Point.
on Neck. You
Yeah,
get the same collar.
Exactly, Mrs. Sutton.
Yep.
So, yeah, your property has a right to connect to the sewer, but.
Just gotta get to it.
But yeah, the mechanism to get to the sewer is not as easy maybe as it was thought to be in 2008, when I guess Darren recalls this owner asking for the lateral connection there. But it seems to me like again, if you have your water comes in a different way, that's right.
The power,
Yeah, and then the
all-
driveway is not my
all
property.
three utilities would be from a
That's
different direction.
Oh, you're.
That's a
oh,
right of
easement?
way, no. It's
A
it's
right of way, okay.
The driveway is an easement as well.
All right.
So
Could you
you're,
ask
that
the
would be
power
an addition.
company to overburden their easement with with a sewer line? Because they have the easement. Or is it specific to power?
have to read the easement.
So what you're saying to us is, you haven't talked to your
Sounds
neighbor at
dicey.
23,
I know.
and that's still something you can do, and the original plan could still go forward.
Yeah.
If they were to allow you access at number 5, that's where you're saying it won't go to your house easily because it's too long of a
So-
distance?
It's a long driveway and it would still probably require another easement, because I only have a right of way easement on the neighbor's property.
So you might only have a right to a driveway there, not a right to
All right,
utilities.
I'm just trying to narrow down
Because
what we're
utilities
talking
came
about.
from everywhere else.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit of a trap here. Like,
Yeah,
And Old Kings, well, so we have sewers in Old Kings Highway South, and technically you have the water line easement over a neighbor in that direction?
yeah, that kind of comes up the hill from Old Kings Highway South and then down to my property and 17, which is in front of me.
Yeah.
So we have like water pressure boosters and everything.
It's very interesting. So, I mean, look, we can't compel a private property owner to do something that they are not inclined to do. Right now, your property is landlocked, so that creates a little bit of a difficulty. I think you're doing the right thing, because I think your property has value, having a right to hook up to the sewer system. The question is how best to do that, and whether it's over 23 or over your driveway easement or in your water line easement. I think we can we'll do our best to work with you and work out the technical details for any of those connections. I don't know how else we can help, I guess, other than to say this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, okay, so I'll speak to the homeowner at 23.
Yeah.
See if they would be open to that. And
Yeah.
am I asking for can I get an easement on your,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I mean, so basically, I guess the fact is that a lateral connection was installed, at that point, adjacent to 23. And you would need some kind of easement between point A and point B to be able to get there, should you ever want to hook up to the sewers.
Yeah.
And see how
Are you looking to
what the
hook up?
reaction is.
No, I'm just, I get the bill every year. It always reminds me that I actually don't have.
Yeah,
any
no, I was just
utility.
curious.
This is what I'm paying for.
I was just
So-
curious if you were looking to hook up now.
No.
You
I
go
mean, the septic's working fine, as I know.
Okay.
And,
Oh, the connection?
Yeah.
Fee?
No,
No, just,
He's paying. 'cause
He's
it's
he's
city
paying
water.
his assessment right now.
no, I'm not paying any
He's still
annual
paying
sewer
his
charge. I'm just
assessment.
paying the $25,000 assessment that's been.
Oh, you're not
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Oh, all right,
he's-
okay.
Yeah.
he's paying for
I
the
got
construction of the
confused,
sewer.
Sorry,
which-
sorry.
You can't use it.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
mean, that's
That's why I
what
asked him
we
if he
have
wants
to
his money
struggle with,
back.
or that's what we have to realize, exactly, is if we get to the point where you are,
Can't use it.
can't use it,
What do we do then?
I would.
We have to
and
give him back
I could
his
be
money.
wrong,
Yeah.
and I can't
Well,
really
it's not
tell
our
from all
money.
this, but
It's
I would
sewer
think that if you're
developer,
telling him,
developer,
you're gonna
like the
give, they're
developer's
gonna give you an
agreement.
easement,
I know it
but you're
was
gonna
sewer.
run
Well,
a
let's find
second
out.
That
pipe,
was-
that goes halfway
all
up their
along there.
driveway,
It's all along there.
which you're gonna have the trench open anyway.
Yeah.
That might be the enticement for them to say yes, because it would make it easier for them to connect when and if the time came.
Yeah.
So, Darren, was this a town project?
Yes.
Okay, and so the assessment charges are
Contract
coming
with
to the
DA,
town?
yeah.
This is the Long Neck Point one, right?
No.
No?
They were separate.
Oh, they were.
No, I was his neighbor. I'd say
Long Neck Point was
that's what
2004.
the Second pipe in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm trying to think of why, other than being a good neighbor, why the person would want to do it.
Yeah.
And that would be the
Yeah,
only
you,
thing I can think of.
yeah, you would pay for the cost between,
Halfway or.
halfway to get to your house, and that way they've now, got 100 or 150 feet of the force main for free.
Yeah.
And
The-
then they'll get it from there, so that would.
They
be the-
could use the same
Yeah.
one. They could join it on like a Y to.
Yeah, we'd have to look at an engineering
No.
analysis, but
No.
you
No,
could
two
do.
separate pipes.
Yeah, but you'd be digging one trench.
Oh, one
not-
trench.
One trench though,
You
the
know.
the money's in the digging.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
The
but that
plan-
means if I was to need it and he did not and didn't want to do it, how would?
So you could dig the trench and put two
Pipes.
pipes in the trench, they're 1.25 inch pipes.
Yeah.
Put 2 pipes in the trench. One goes up to your property, one caps wherever you end it,
That he
and
could
stop
use
the
in the
trench that he
future.
could
Yeah.
use in the future and fix the
You could
trench.
even put that in a pit, right?
Yeah, that is a win-win. I mean, that's a significant cost saving for.
It's fairly
for that.
common.
Yeah.
It's been done in many places. Weber and Country Club, they had a house way in the back. It was a long run.
Yeah.
2 laterals were side by side.
Hanson Road.
It happens all the time. The commission has been consistent on
Near water.
having Nickerson, having the easement reviewed by town council. That won't cost you anything, but if you submit the easement, the commission will tell us to go get the easement reviewed by town council and approved. You send your plumber to us and start digging.
I mean, both of you will see an increase in value of your property,
Yeah.
being able to.
Exactly.
able to
More
do
easily
that
tie in.
Later.
Exactly.
Cleaning this up is genius on your part, when you have the time and effort.
Well,
to
yeah, it's
just solve it.
one of those.
And you were saying it's a gravel driveway for his?
His is a gravel driveway.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
gonna
even
be
better.
significantly
Well,
less than asphalt driveway.
Yeah, I don't even think you'd have to go through
You
the
could do it on the
driveway.
edge
of the
It's got
driveway,
a,
yeah.
you know, plenty of edge, around the driveway.
Tell me, put some roses in.
Whatever you do, go over there with a nice bottle of wine, see how it works out.
See how it
We're amenable to help you any way we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, even if you go the other way and your driveway, asphalt driveway, and manage to convince that neighbor it's a good idea.
Okay.
We always think it's a good idea to have the ability to hook up to sewer, especially when it's already installed in the road.
Yeah.
If for environmental reasons you do find your septic failing, or you wanna make your house larger.
Much
you
larger,
can't
and then
do
you
the-
can't do it, because you
can't
don't
do
have
the
the
compliant
septic.
reserve system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to hire him to scratch his head a lot and figure it all out rather
Charge
than
you, and then
put a
you'll hook
plastic
up.
pipe in and you're done.
All right.
So let us know. I'm,
No, I'll definitely follow up
Curious.
once I hear
Yeah.
from the neighbor. If it's
Yeah.
something he's open to, I guess I would proceed with just getting the easement in place, even though we're not gonna do it.
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
basically,
oh, yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get the easement in place, that's what
Yeah.
you want.
And
Then it's
then,
clear for
if he's
everybody.
not,
Yeah.
then I'll come
Then
back
we'll
and
probably
discuss
talk
it
to
some
you
more.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you, sir.
Interesting, thank you.
thank you.
Good luck.
And I applaud you for doing it ahead of time.
On a very cold day
All right,
in
agenda
January.
item number 5, 18 and 20 Locust Hill Road sewer connection and analysis.
Rob Frangione, I don't see him.
This was the one connection we asked.
Yeah.
Did we see this before?
It's been on the agenda pretty much every month. The difference is since last meeting, we received some information from the engineer. We agree with the approach in general, which is up to 9 houses on a 2-inch pipe. The information is in your package, and someone is here to speak to the issue. I would add to the commission that there's still a few other items that need to be resolved. So, one of them.
Landlocked lots?
One of them is, the Hammernick line was installed, we're talking about the Hammernick line out in the road in Locust Hill. As far as we know, there's no developer's agreement, but it's been treated as a developer's agreement. People have connected to the sewer and paid Hammernick. He's been the recipient of pro rata shares. This, of course, would represent an additional pro rata share. So if it was a normal developer's agreement, and that's what it's been treated as, he would be due 1 pro rata share, and then at the end of it, only up to the total number of pro rata shares minus 1, right? So Hammernick would be entitled to what his original deal was. There was a certain number of houses that could connect. Actually, you can see, I think I have a map in there which I gave to the engineer. It's written in red. Okay, and in addition to that, there's the issue of a connection fee and our current code of ordinance as it's laid out. So, those are the other 2 issues that need to be resolved. Now that the
And as-built
engineering.
easement, do we need easement map? between the two
Absolutely.
lots?
An easement, we haven't gotten the easement, that's a good point, a formality, but yes, that has, just so I told the last gentleman, we need the easement document. The commission has always made us have that easement document reviewed by town council.
File it in land records.
Yep, and we would need a map prepared, and then work out the money part of it.
So do we know what the pro rata share is based on the other contributors?
It's
Is that a
very,
fixed number?
very difficult to determine. Mr. Hammernick, his wife came to our office, and they were someplace in the $5,000 range
Okay,
to use their sewer.
so they have to figure that out, those two have to talk?
Yes.
Outside of us?
They have some paperwork. Unfortunately, the people who actually owned this property, the original property, of course, originally connected to the sewer, and the application before you is to allow, it was subdivided and allow that extra house to connect, right? But that house actually is one of the houses that paid Hammernick to connect. So one of the pro rata shares, of course, is not at issue. It's the additional pro rata share.
So it would be a new lateral connected into the pressure system in the road, much like we were
No.
talking about?
It'll be a new lateral connecting to the existing lateral on the property.
It would
Right.
Piggyback.
Adjoining, yeah.
It'll go two into one and then cross the street. So the developer is trying to avoid going out into the road.
Okay.
And,
So it's essentially a serial connection to the next property.
Yeah.
yes, serial, yes.
That's like Stonewall Lane, kind of, your daisy chain.
Two into one, yes.
Daisy chain. Would it be better, it comes out into the road on the other side of the road into a pit, the two into one, so it can be maintained separately in two lines? Or is that crazy, like we did on Nearwater? Did we
Better.
have a pit in the road
Well,
where
No, that
Capacity
was that
analysis-
road off of Nearwater,
Yeah.
off near
it was
water
in the
there.
road, it wasn't on their
Yeah.
properties?
The
Yeah, 'cause there were
capacity-
3 long runs there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the capacity, that's correct, and they're separate. This capacity analysis shows that there's enough capacity for the lateral and the pipe, which is what we asked the applicant to
Okay.
prove.
So what are we doing?
We're waiting for them to come back with all those
Okay.
things?
Well,
Wish list.
he's here now, if you'd like to hear from him.
Sure.
And I assume you're Mr. Gold?
Yes,
Yeah, Mr. Gold, he actually appeared before the commission before here.
I think in
Bruce
April,
Gold?
maybe.
You can see when things aren't perfectly cleaned up, like the guy here before, and now he's got a landlocked parcel, we try and do the due diligence ahead of time, so that's all we're doing with you.
No,
Making
I
sure it's
understand,
full.
and I guess, I'm not sure what I need to get back, what information I need to get back, because the easement, I think when I was here last time, there were 2 things that were approved. It was approved that I could run, I guess, pipe from the back house through the property of the front house, and then the front house would give an easement to the back house for that, and then we could connect at a Y before the street, and then just go with one pipe to the actual sewer. So I think that's what we agreed to last time.
In concept, based on a satisfactorily submitted capacity analysis, which is in their package.
Right. And then the thing about the easement is I would usually dig first to put the pipe in and then do an easement, just so I know exactly where the pipe is gonna be. It'd be hard to mark it beforehand just because of, digging. There might be some issues with digging. I did the same thing with Aquarian. I moved some things around and they let me do that and then do an easement afterward, just because sometimes when you dig, you can't put the pipe exactly where you think it could go because of stone or other issues.
You can
Are we
always amend an
transversing
easement.
an as-built and an easement?
An as-built for.
An as-built is a drawing.
No,
An
I don't-
easement's a written diagram.
No, I know, I don't know what I need
But I don't
an
know-
as-built for.
Now, what he's saying is he wants to be able to put the pipe wherever he wants and then put the easement on top of the pipe in case he hits a rock and goes around it or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
what he's
We
saying.
talked about me doing an easement, granting an easement. I own both properties, so I could grant myself an easement, which I'll do, but I want to be able to put the sewer pipe in and then get my surveyor out there, and mark it, get my surveyor out there to do that. If they come beforehand and try to mark it, and then I dig it all up and I have to do some kind of workaround, it just becomes difficult. But the other thing I did want to address was, I guess, the former developer and a fee. I mean, to me, I'm not changing the connection, I'm just increasing the possible, I guess, usage, to which I'm already paying Darien a fee of, I think I'm paying $750 an extra each bedroom. So I'm already paying $4,500 to go from 4 to 10, and because I'm, my civil engineer has said that nothing has to change, and I'm not going across the road, and all I'm doing is just changing a connection that I already had. I'm not sure why I have to pay a developer from 30 years ago that there's no agreement for anything.
Because
That confuses me.
It's a dwelling unit and not an addition on a house that would create 6 extra bedrooms.
Well,
In
But
concept.
I'm paying,
For the
I'm
bedrooms too,
paying
yeah.
the current owner, which is Darien,
Yeah.
for the use of that sewer, so why do I have to pay somebody that for 30 years ago?
construction cost of the original sewer doesn't change by virtue of the two houses, because you're not changing anything that was constructed. Now, remind me, I feel like this sort of thing has come up in the past, where you would have a dead-end pipe to somewhere that was a part of an extension. And if it was one
That's one
dead
pro
end
rata
and-
share, you're correct.
And used 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the future, it's just one share, right?
If you look at the lateral that serves his property as a sewer main extension, if you look at it that way, then he would, and then if that was a sewer main extension, yes. It's a shared lateral, but if it was a sewer main extension, they would be entitled to, a developer would be entitled to one pro rata share. That's the practice.
But that's up to the total cost of the construction, is that correct?
Correct.
Has it
And
been,
minus the original guy.
okay, has
Right.
it been, have we reached that number?
No.
For the one connection. Oh, that's what you're saying.
We have not reached that number. What I'm saying is, Hammernick would be allowed whatever his total connections were, as Ed just said, minus his connection, right, because he counts as one. There is no possibility for an extension. But now we're adding a house, so when Hammernick reached that number, that original number, the last house in that area to connect would not pay Hammernick.
Because he was fully paid back, right?
Similar to like Mansfield.
Mixture, yeah, the mixture.
Remember
Yeah.
the
That's correct.
301. Yeah.
That's correct. What Commissioner Hill just said, Mixter, there was a lot of subdivisions that went on. There were lots created that weren't anticipated. And it was not fair for Mixter to enrich himself beyond,
The cost,
His
yeah.
cost.
yeah, his cost.
I agree with that.
Minus his share.
It was never envisioned as a profit-making machine. But to Mr. Gold's point,
So in my view here, for what you're doing is, if I were like, if it weren't extra cost, I'd say put another line out, have that owner in the back, have his own separate line.
Well, he will until it gets in straight.
Until is where the huge problem occurred. We have one where 2 people did combine a lateral. The lateral has failed down past both houses, and the subservient house, the house up here owned it. The second house, which it goes through, can't make them fix it.
Well,
And we
they'll
can't make
have a
them.
share though.
Yeah.
And it's only, I really don't want to break the street.
No, I know.
And
we
we're
don't
only
either.
talking about 10 feet, 15 feet or
But in
something.
reality, that might be long-term, stop a fight between 2
Well, I-
people who don't want to maintain a pipe together.
Well, if they have an agreement.
if I could address
Still in
your
court.
I mean,
point.
still, it's me to me right now.
Yeah, I know, I
own
know
both
that.
of them.
Can we-
I agree with myself.
Can we boil down what the questions are, right?
Okay, he doesn't want to pay
Yeah.
Hammernick.
Question number 1.
That's easy.
Because you've already paid a share?
No,
No.
because
the
I'm.
front
first
house
of all,
paid a share.
He's thinking about paying a connection fee. Why should I pay both?
And I'm just increasing, I already had a connection, and I'm just increasing the usage of that
What
connection.
do our
to which
regs
I'm
say?
paying
Do our
for
regs say
Darien.
regardless of,
What do the regs say about what?
The existence of a developer's agreement.
But you said there isn't one, though.
Well, there is no developer's agreement, but a standard developer agreement would allow so many pro rata shares. And as Commissioner Hill made a good point, Mansfield Green Mixter, there was a whole bunch of people, but there were also additional lateral connections made through subdivisions, similar to this. So,
Clock Lane was the same off Penny
So whose
Glassmeyer.
sewer is it?
Well, but what
It
it comes down to is the
stopped.
last person to the party got it for free because the
There was
the
fully
people
paid.
and
previous
that's
to
where the
that
connection
paid for
fees
it.
come in.
But we have not reached that threshold here.
That's correct.
Well, except for, shouldn't I be able to audit his paperwork to see, I mean, this is something 30 years ago that I didn't even think I'm a party to. It's not a document that I ever had when I bought the property. So how do I know his numbers are even
Do you
accurate?
think $5,000 is crazy?
No, look,
I mean,
I'd rather not pay $5,000 if
I
I didn't
get
have
that,
to.
I get that.
I mean, I get a lot of, $5,000
Look,
is real money.
I'm gonna, it's not sinking in with me. I'm usually a fairly quick study, but I am not understanding the questions. I just don't feel as though I don't even have a base understanding of quite frankly, what's being asked. Like, where was the sewer line extended? Who extended it? What did it cost them? Who's hooked into it now? Who's not hooked into it now?
Okay, maybe I can.
Yeah.
All right, so the property was subdivided front to back.
Yes, I understand that.
He's building a new house in the back.
I understand that.
He's gonna connect that sewer to the sewer that's existing from the front piece of property, which paid the
Yeah,
developer's agreement.
yeah.
Probably a
He
long time.
feels that the pipe was what should pay the developer's agreement, independent of how many houses got stuck on it.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess it's like, but
And
if
I'm
there
also
were, if there were 7 houses that could take advantage of that sewer when the agreement, when it was extended and paid for, it is reasonable to think that those 7 people each are responsible for a pro rata share of that original construction cost. I guess, and here we've subdivided the 7th lot, or the 6th lot.
After the
Eight.
initial
What's that?
sewer was put in.
And now we have an 8th.
See?
But I'm also paying $750 per extra bedroom, so that $4,500, isn't that a fee that I'm paying to the current owner? I mean, I am,
Yeah.
the current owner is you guys, is the
Yeah, but it's not like we would pay for an extension based on a $750
I
connection.
just feel like I'm
fee.
paying double.
Well, the only reason the pipe is there is because of the developer.
But it was because, yeah, but it's already been paid for.
Yes, Darren.
My
No.
connection's already been
Oh,
paid for.
yeah, I understand that.
And
but
I'm just increasing some bedrooms. If I did a renovation and added another 5 bedrooms to the original house, I wouldn't have to
It'd be a different
pay.
animal. You're absolutely right.
It would, but,
Hold
I
on one
mean,
second.
again, I'm connecting, I'm not breaking the street.
I hear you. What's that, Darren?
At the last meeting, the commission discussed this very issue of the code of ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and refresh my memory.
There was an issue about whether or not a connection fee and a developer's pro rata share could be both charged.
Yeah.
And the commission has advised staff to proceed with correcting the code of ordinance.
Okay.
But as we sit here tonight, that obviously hasn't
So
happened
the
yet.
current one says you take into consideration a developer's agreement and you're not applying a connection fee when one exists.
Yeah. in general.
And we're revising that to say,
Going to.
you know, there's a bigger system here than just the piece that was constructed to get to your property. And therefore, we want the connection fee because the connection fee is paying for the bigger system.
But then what about the developer fee on that? Then it would just be one
No, well,
fee
where
or
we're headed
both?
is you'd pay both, and it would be clearly codified.
But
that
that's
you'd
not
pay
a reg
both.
right now, though.
It's not written right now.
Okay, so-
But we also, here's the other area that I'm unclear on, is there is not a developer's agreement?
Haven't seen one.
So who paid for the sewer?
Dick Hamernick.
Isn't it the cost of doing business?
But
when you
and
get
who owns the
development?
sewer right now?
No, that's not the way it works.
Who owns the sewer right now?
Who owns the sewer?
Yeah.
Well, it's been so much time, us.
We own it.
When,
So the sewer commission owns the sewer, town of Darien owns the sewer.
yeah, in general, if there was a developer's agreement, the sewer commission would accept the sewer ownership and maintenance responsibilities, depending on what's written in the developer's agreement. Now, what's written in the developer's agreement? When Westmere was written, the time was 1 year after the last house connects, which of course that got worked out through other avenues. But other developers' agreements might say within 1 year after the sewer is finished. So it depends, but it might be 30 years.
But we have a sewer that was built 30 years ago with private funds.
It's ours.
That we now own.
It's ours.
Can I ask
It's
a
ours.
question?
It's ours because, for example, when Westmere put the sewer in,
Yeah,
and they moved the manhole, and this sewer connects into that manhole.
yeah.
Dick Hammernick or nobody else came to us and said, hey, let me move that for you. It was us, it's ours. We maintain it. If there's a problem, we're compelled to act. Due to the passage of time, I don't see how the
So why
town,
would this pro rata, so where's the pro rata charge coming from? What is it based on?
it's based on the fact that Dick Hammernick put out a lot of money to build this sewer, and he made provisions for the people along the way to connect to it.
Is it our responsibility to manage that agreement for him that doesn't exist?
It would be if there was an agreement, and I don't have an agreement.
But there is no agreement, so why is it our?
That's why we're standing here, because it's not easy.
Well, how old is the sewer line? I don't even know.
Roughly 30 years.
Before I got here, and I've been here almost 25 years, so yeah, it's probably over 25. It could be 30.
Was there any other connections other than the original connectors, and what was that charge? What was that pro rata share? Do we have anybody who could say, Joe Kelly, did he hook up when he owned that house right there where the stream is, the bridge? Was that part of this?
I believe Dick Hammernick had to pay Joe Kelly to connect to the Joe Kelly sewer. And then I believe Westmere paid Joe Kelly to take over the Kelly sewer and replace it. Yeah.
So there is no evidence that an agreement exists.
I have not seen any.
So doesn't it sound like Mr. Hamonic needs to make his
Well,
claim
but
in court?
Is he around? Is he saying I'm due
Dick
money?
Hammernick around?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Is he saying?
He's probably watching right now.
Oh, okay. So is he claiming that he deserves a pro rata share of this?
Vociferously.
Ah, okay.
But is it our job to uphold that? There's no agreement.
There is
Does he
no-
need to go to court? Is
He
this a
has not
civil
been able to
matter?
produce an agreement. We have not been able to produce an agreement. We have seen some of the bills. I believe it was Dominic Conti who did the installation on the highway side in the grass area, all the way up to the Kelly sewer.
Now, Darren, there was a 9-house Jack Clark subdivision way back when that Penny tried to tie into, and she didn't.
Over the hill, nothing to do with
Correct.
this.
But it was private, it was never deeded back to the sewer commission, was
What the
it?
hell is this?
But you
over
maintain it
here?
and manage it.
Connected,
I
guess.
Yeah, that was-
disagree.
and these two
Okay.
are connected.
And I'll tell you why. When we went in there, clearly Penny was dealing with us,
Yeah,
with the
blue
sewer
is
commission,
connected.
with the town.
The red is not
And
yet.
when we went into the driveway of David and
no.
Holly Galper,
Well,
when we
this
went into
is
that
not-
driveway, there was a manhole there. And there were easements through the backyards, through the center of all those properties. And the town did assume responsibility for that, and we did pay to have the manhole raised to grade.
Okay, so another case where there wasn't a ironclad developers agreement, who owns what, does it the towns, is it theirs, but you maintain it, you have control over it.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So Craig, it isn't like this is the only murky installation that happened.
Yeah, we did some really bad paperwork 3
Yeah.
decades ago.
Yeah, but we were able to find, Wilder Gleason went in his files to look for the mixture sewer, didn't he? To see
No,
if
it was Bob
fully-
Steger.
Oh. but
Bob
Wil-
Steger did all the accounting and wrote Wilder a letter,
And Wilder said it was 20 years.
because Wilder was looking for more money, and Bob went through and said, your guy's already been paid.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
Wow.
And then other people connected, and then more recently, this commission looked at a situation like this and came up with connection fees, because it's not fair for everybody else to pay a lot of money and then Johnny come
Okay,
lately.
so let me flip a scenario. Right, let me say it's Long Neck Point Road. It was a town project through sewer assessments. We put the force main down there. Someone on Long Neck Point Road subdivides their
We
lot
just had it, Plumfield School.
into two pieces.
We just did it.
It's interesting that you say that, because the Pear Tree Point School had exactly that case.
And what did we do
Well,
for the assessment?
let me try and remember, the Pear Tree Point School
We
was
just charged them a
given.
connection fee. We didn't charge them.
Pro rata
Well,
share.
no, it was a little more convoluted than that, but there were 3 connections to the
Yeah,
Pear Tree Point
yeah,
School
yeah.
off of Pear Tree Point Road.
Yeah,
The property was divided into 4 lots,
yeah.
so they were shy one, and we gave them the option. We said, you already paid for 3 laterals. Those 3 laterals came with assessments, so you can give yourself easements, and you've already paid for it. And they said, no, we'd rather not do the easements. We're gonna do a hot tap on Long Neck
Yeah,
Point.
yeah.
So,
So they paid for their connection.
but they also paid for an assessment.
They did.
They did.
I'm pretty sure by memory, they paid.
There- Another pro
It
rata.
was a pretty cheap assessment. It was like $13,000. And then they, since the lateral wasn't provided to the property line, I believe they deducted the cost of doing the hot tap and going out
Because
the
that would have been
road
within the original
from the overall
as an
assessment. That's where the commission came down on that.
Can we pull those minutes, Pear Tree?
I'm sorry, it's difficult.
Can we pull those minutes? So
The
we can
minutes,
look at
you want
that,
the minutes from,
and that file.
We're looking
Long
for
Neck.
guidance, I think, on how to solve this, because it's complicated, because you've got the private deal with the guy who,
Well, you have an undocumented private deal.
yeah,
I guess. I mean, my only concern, well, I have several concerns, but I would like to pull a permit and put my sewer in. I'm at that point, and I have some other trenching to do, and I'd like to pay the connection fee and get a permit. That's why I wrote you an email, and that's why my civil
If the
responded,
commission-
so that we could get that done.
if the commission is looking for more information, I think that's reasonable. We have waited close to a year for this capacity analysis to get before you,
Well, because I couldn't build the back house.
whatever reason.
I
for
just
whatever
started the
reason.
back house because I had water lines through it. It took me a year to get Aquarian to grant me approval to move.
If
I
the
just
com-
started building the back house, and now I'd like to keep on going and put the sewer in and do all the, you know,
There-
all the grading and, you know, all the, you know, in the dirt.
But we don't have all the information, so we
No, no, I
can't make
understand,
the
but
decision.
I could still, I mean, I'm gonna have to pay for a permit one way or the other. I mean, if there's another cost, then
but it's at
I
your
have another
risk.
cost. What's that?
Until you get it approved, there's, you know, it's at your risk.
Right. But I mean, you know, say if I get a permit and do it, yeah, if I don't get the sewer approved, or if I owe another fee and you don't want to sign off on my CO, that's fair, right? I'd like to just be able to put the pipe in at least, and I want you guys to inspect it.
Sounds like Mr. Usman
Yeah,
wants to say
there
something.
was no rush to get this for us, and now there's a rush.
Well, here's the
But-
thing, I didn't know he was
You know,
missing
I'll-
something.
Let us
Give
let
me a
him finish,
chance.
please.
I'm not against you.
No, no, I got
I'm
you.
just
I
trying to
got you.
explain. We have the stuff now. If the commission is comfortable allowing him to pull a permit, he is correct. We can hold the CO. You do have that, if that makes you comfortable.
It doesn't, well, it doesn't make me comfortable.
I'd really like
I'm
to
so
see.
confused at how you're saying the delay was because there were pipes in the back, the capacity analysis to run. from the
No,
house to
I
the sewer.
couldn't dig and pour a foundation. There were water service lines through where I was gonna go from the neighbors. I had to get Aquarian, it's a separate issue.
But so it didn't
You were,
delay.
you
No,
were,
it did
you were,
delay us.
you
It
were
did.
slowed down in your
I
construction.
couldn't dig, I couldn't put a foundation in because water lines
But that-
ran right through where the
That
foundation
didn't
was.
necessarily obstruct you from
what it is.
asking your engineer to prepare this letter.
I didn't know that there was anything due. From the meeting in April, I was under the impression that we got approved for running the 2 lines, we got approved for doing the Y. I didn't know that there was anything else that was due.
You were here?
Subject to the,
I
That's correct.
was here, but he, you sent an email
Yeah.
one email, and then you sent a follow-up, and then on the first one, I talked to him, and then when he didn't respond on the follow-up, that's when he responded. But I didn't know there was anything due.
Commissioner Hill is correct. When you appeared before this commission before, the commission said, yes, please proceed, get us a capacity
Oh,
analysis.
I didn't know that.
I recall that.
Was happy with my other two approvals.
He was here.
I didn't know that. But I'd still like to, you know, like what was said, I just want to put the pipe in and just be able to do that on an open trench and get that approved. And if something, you know, if I can't get a CO,
fine.
then that's my risk.
Or Mr. Hammond sues you because you're not
That's
going to
fine.
pay
He
him.
can sue me
Right.
whether I have a CO or if I sold the property or not.
The commission, in other cases, has allowed a sewer lateral to be installed for things such as, I'm putting in a new driveway. I don't want to dig up my driveway in a year. I don't want to connect to the sewer, and they'll bring their sewer line
And
in.
the technical questions have been answered. There's capacity, it is, you know, creating an easement is something that we can do and have regularly done. We have allowed 2 force main laterals to connect to each other before discharging, even though I agree with your counsel that
Yeah.
fences make good neighbors.
Yep.
Um,
Bushes too.
You
need some.
Can I just address, Commissioner Hutchinson mentioned about another location where there was a problem and there was 2 people. I just want to put that to bed for Mr. Gold and everybody here. There will be a shared maintenance agreement for the shared part of the sewer.
Or there
so
wasn't in that case.
If something goes wrong, the 2 property owners, whoever they end up
The
being,
rights and responsibilities will be in black and white
Correct.
in the easement.
so that won't be an issue. That'll be part and parcel with the easement agreement that is finally approved by our
So
council.
really, the yawning gap here is, you know, if I could, what is the town's responsibility to honor a claim by the original installer when no agreement for how payment was to be made is been brought forth?
Aren't you really asking, you know, is the town responsible to be the collector?
Yeah, that's kind of what
Well,
I'm
that developer's
asking.
agreement, you would. right?
If there was an agreement,
Past
Yes.
that said, we're gonna pay you for this and we'll do that, we have several of those, but there is no agreement. Or
Absent the
not done.
agreement, I just don't see why
That-
we're involved.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
that's the most difficult part
If-
for me.
why is that?
There's no developer's agreement. Can you enforce a developer's agreement? Well, that's the past practice. I can tell you, if there is a developer's agreement, we just wrote a check to Rick Gerard for the Kelly Nursery Sewer on Mansfield.
Okay.
That's right.
That's
Maybe it's
been done.
cheaper than going to court.
Probably over 25
22,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah.
sending him checks
But there's an
as
agreement,
people connect.
but there's an agreement.
But there's a developer's agreement, and that's what makes, I agree with you that this is,
Absent
that's the
agreement,
hardest
there's-
part.
But if
Well-
it was, wouldn't it be, you said that some of them say, after the sewer's completed, another year or
Oh,
two.
that's
or
just
3.
when the town accepts the sewer.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay,
all.
Okay. I was
Nothing
gonna
to
say-
do with the
Oh, okay.
provider.
I've asked them
Misunderstood.
the complicated question, what if the developer goes broke? And oftentimes that happens, they shut things down when they're done with the
Yeah, who do you
development, and
pay?
they
There's
find
no
a
entity.
guy, and whether he got it personally, or it was through his corporation, or what if litigation, I mean, it gets very
I
complicated.
mean, here's the thing, I might end up, I don't know who this is, and I was under the impression that I could talk today and say, you know, I don't know who the developer is, I'm not party to it, I'm not really connected to it. So I was thinking that maybe, you know, since there's no paperwork, but if he does approach me, I mean, it's a possibility, and I just.
You guys should
settle
go.
It has to come to
I
us.
don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody from 30 or 40 years ago, I mean, I'm not even from here.
Who's watching our meeting?
He still lives there.
He's
I mean, look,
a builder like you are.
Okay.
He's still there. He
Okay.
still lives there.
I'm sure he likes
certainly-
beer instead of wine, and you could go have a beer and probably hash that out.
Nah, it has to go through us.
No, I know, but they can make a deal, whatever
Oh,
deal
They both can.
We don't
So
care what number they
agree
come
with
up
that.
with, there's no developer's
You
agreement.
don't have an agreement.
If there's a developer's agreement, they pay
Is there a
us.
developer's agreement here?
No.
No,
Then it doesn't have to go to us.
it doesn't come to us.
So, like,
It's
This
let's
is
not-
like
let's
totally
not
separate.
come back if
Darren,
there's a developer's
this is like
agreement.
Hollow Tree
I
Ridge,
think this is a personal
Hanson
matter
Road.
Right now.
I'm sorry, say again?
The sewer exists, it is our sewer, there is no developer's agreement. you are asking to connect in a mildly unconventional manner, which we have allowed in the past.
We have a
That's as
capacity
close
study.
to, we have a capacity analysis, that's the closest as I have to the facts that have been presented, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly it.
I think you already approved in the April meeting to let me connect that way,
Yeah,
so.
Pending a study.
yeah.
Which-
So we've got the
Which we've
study,
got.
and staff says
From
it's fine.
April
Yeah,
till
yeah,
So-
January, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
So at this
Let's
point,
let that
we
go.
could also take no action, which is,
I'd like to also see the language of the easement between the two properties, just so we don't see the
That's
Hatfield
gonna be-
McCoy starting.
I think you guys have a
At some
template for
point.
that.
yeah.
Have a,
So
yeah,
That generally comes through.
we'll
Yeah.
see that again.
Yeah, no,
So at this point,
you want to put a pipe in the ground and get it
yes,
approved.
and I want to get approved.
And we've done
pay
that
the permit fees and all that, and then
so in
let you
in
guys
Darren, in
approve
your
it later.
opinion, has he fulfilled the conditions of his approval from April?
Yes.
Okay, so the conditions of our original approval have been fulfilled. We'll see you when you have an easement.
Okay,
And the
but
language.
can I
He wants to know if he can dig.
dig?
Can you pull his permit?
he wants to put,
Pay our
Connection fee.
required connection fee.
And he mentioned
permit.
in a public meeting that he accepts that we may hold his CO for some period of time until this is all resolved.
If more information becomes available, we'll make a different determination based on that information, or the same determination.
But at this time,
Right, if
we're
Mr.
allowing him to
Hammond
move
comes up
forward.
with a
that?
developer's agreement.
At this time, we are allowing him to move forward and pull a permit.
Yes.
I see no reason to stop it.
numbers, I can.
Are we going to vote on that? Because
You wanna vote on that?
should we vote on
With
it?
a caution.
Yeah, I would.
Love a motion.
What's that?
You would love us to vote on it?
Love a motion. Give us
All
a
right.
motion.
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, didn't, from what we just were discussing, if he puts everything in, there's still a caution that he may have a discussion or argument with somebody who claims to have some sort of monetary right in that property, right? So, I mean,
They don't
we
own
don't
it.
Yeah, we're
control
not
that.
absolving you of that, it's buyer beware, you have the
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, we don't control that, so that's the only thing that could be hanging over your head.
But would it
But
matter
I
to
would,
you?
I would say that, you know, this is sort of an aside, that if you had to go to court,
Mhm.
it seems that courts fairly like more dense development of property.
Well, we don't
Oh
know,
my
we don't
God.
know how things
Okay.
turn out.
So,
I think
that's
it
a
was worded somewhere.
wild-
where it said
wild
you're the agent
speculation.
To collect.
If what?
If
No,
it
it's
said
not.
you're the agent to
Right, but I mean,
collect.
there's no
I mean, in
paperwork,
this
and,
case,
I mean,
I'm
look,
just saying if it came to fruition,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's.
well, I think if it did, it would be outside of this commission, because.
No.
again,
All right,
No.
so
No.
I guess I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we allow Mr. Gold to move forward and,
We
Pull-
find that he's met the conditions of his prior approval,
right.
and that he is
He
entitled
provided us with the requested
capacity
capacity
analysis.
analysis.
And he's entitled to move forward with securing a sewer permit to make.
And pay a connection.
and Pay a connection fee to make the connection.
And prepare an easement after.
And prepare an
Oh, yeah,
easement
and
and an as-built.
Yeah,
And
yes,
as-built.
yeah.
The as-built,
For
Yes.
the pipe runs.
And we
So
have to.
someone else wouldn't dig it up.
So
okay,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
okay, well, that's,
Yes.
it'll be on my,
Yes,
yes,
so,
it'll be on my
but
as-built.
let's
It'll
be clear
marked,
about this,
exactly.
because
Okay,
we
But you might
have war
right
stories here
now
as
or
well.
No, no.
it'll
it would
be marked like all.
We want to know
When it's done,
exactly
it's
where
happening.
both pipes are
Mhm.
between the road and the houses.
Yes.
And the easement, all on a map, clearly.
With enough
and,
room to maintain it.
make-
Yeah,
Make it
and
big,
access
wide.
points and such.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Okay.
Can.
Are you comfortable with, have you written the motion, Darren? You've got it? You're clear
Yes.
enough? Okay. Do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Yeah.
So Darren, we'll see that for review of the language of the easement, town council, all that, make sure before he gets
Oh,
the
yeah, I'll
final.
come back. We're not gonna,
No public.
you can see, we're not doing this on our own. This is,
I hope we're
it's a
helpful.
tough one.
I hope we're helpful.
It took me about 45 minutes to catch on to the facts. I don't know. I wasn't helping. I was like
Yeah,
an anchor
That's
dragging
convoluted.
it.
Okay, what's next? Oh, okay.
Thank goodness for that. I'd be the one.
All right,
Okay.
number 6 on the agenda.
Some plum compliance.
Are we moving forward? Are we getting closer?
It looks good.
Ripping off the Band-Aid?
Hold
All right.
on.
No, do we
So
have,
anyway-
we have a chain?
Hold on, Bob.
There's up to pay, if you went to that, what I did with that is the red changes the verbiage that was in this
Yeah.
to be the same verbiage that's in the flow chart.
Okay, included in your submittal photos of the entire.
Like almost word for word. So that's all I really changed. I didn't change any of the context of it or the substance.
Yeah, the substance. You didn't change the substance, you just
Those are
redefined
the
it.
I just
visible
used the
portions.
same terms as
Yeah.
I used
Made
on
it
the flow
consistent,
chart,
right.
just to be
All right.
dead consistent.
I'm gonna rock your world, and I haven't called Darren, and I've tried to call him Ed.
Rocking our world.
I think we need a $1,500 fine for
I-
non-compliance.
well, You can ask it. I think what you need to do is you need to calculate a 30, and I didn't do it. I meant to do it. I was thinking of it when I was out walking the dog. Basically, 2 hours a day, a 30 GPM pump, 2 hours a day, 365 days a year, and that would be the maximum possible fine.
You see, you have to calculate it. It's our-
Yeah, I mean, I could do it and literally, but it's gonna change year to year. Because it's, what'd I say, 2 hours, which is 120 minutes, times 30 gallons, times 360, wait a minute, 362, I can't. 365 times $7, oh, wait a minute. We'll just do that because I have to subtract, I have to divide. So we get that, we divide it by 748, we get that. We times that times 750,
12 grand.
$13,000.
I was just spitballing.
That's gonna be the penalty? $13,000?
Like I said, I told you how okay, so half of that, an hour a day.
No, Dave,
A
I'm
30
just,
gallon per minute sump pump is not unrealistic.
exactly.
Running an hour a day, I don't think is all that,
Wow,
is all that unrealistic.
okay.
And even if you did it for half the year, that would still be $3,250, far more than $1,500.
I like that you're basing it on some real facts.
Here,
I was ready
well,
to go that route. I just wanted to put something in.
No, I wanted to change that
Yeah.
too. You can ask Ed, and he's like, okay, we'll leave that until we get to the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Funny we had the
What
same.
is your-
Because I think the maximum fine has to be such that it will, push people to fix the problem and not just live with it because it's better to not have a wet backyard or have to do this or do that. So I'll just keep paying the $1,500.
Craig, you have a different thought.
Yeah.
well, I just want to slow
Somewhere
down.
in
We
between.
went past 2 pages and started focusing on one thing.
Well,
towards the
that
end.
was,
Well, we've really pretty much decided all the
Yeah,
rest
no,
of it,
I
just
get it,
changing
I
the
get it.
verbiage.
Apparently I'm slow tonight. I want to take.
No, it's fine.
Like, start with the end in mind, and you probably are, which is, we're,
trying to get as many.
treading on new ground. We're treading on new ground, right?
Yes.
One, and really we're trying for compliance. And I guess I want to be careful when things feel like they're getting punitive. That's my concern.
Is it punitive, though, if they're actually sending this water through the
Well,
system? Craig, and we're
but
paying
it's
for it?
based on assumptions. Is it running 2 hours every single day for 365 days? Is it,
They're gonna discuss
Is
you
it
know,
running,
is it running at all?
is
for
it
months,
running
you
10
know?
hours a day for
Correct.
365
Craig,
I
days?
agree.
this is 4 years into it.
Craig, just look at
4
Stony
years into,
Brook.
well, but I was
Or
looking
it
at
might even be
this,
further into it.
well,
That's this would be the maximum penalty, which would actually
okay, then
change year to
maybe
year.
that's not clear to me when I look at this, because it doesn't say 2028, or it doesn't say, it just says basically, if you lie on this form,
Well,
we're gonna
but
charge
what
you.
Reese is saying is, I would assume that we need to keep going to a point where it gets to that number. Whether
Yeah, or-
that's in 4 years or 5 years or whatever, but I
Yeah.
think that's where he was saying, I don't think he was saying 100, 250,
The reason I
1,500.
had, the reason I just threw that in is because it was the lying, proving somebody's lying is $1,500.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, so you're actually talking about kind of the line above, which is,
Non-compliance.
Oh, see, I would
When-
say that needs to keep going up bigger and bigger and bigger till we get to that
I agree,
point.
I was only, that's my starting
Oh,
point, come
okay.
talk to me. And so there are some people with that number who just keep paying it and not want to deal
Yeah.
with their problem.
Yeah,
I
and
know that.
Sure, 'cause it's
And you
cheap.
can say it's punitive, I think it's
look, I could be.
Being a
so-
bad neighbor on
so
their
let's-
side.
we'll take one step at a time. So I could say if we double again after 2027, I would be fine with a $1,000 fee in 2028.
okay.
Um,
Well, but do we also need to change, because the problem, and I don't want to run into this one, if someone builds a new house and somehow it doesn't get, do we need to say after year 1, after year 2? Because I don't want to have like this thing with the connection fees now and have some little caveat in the.
They sell the house. Are we starting over?
I don't know. So
They
this
can't
is,
sell the house and start over. That doesn't work.
sell the
This
house.
has to be somehow built into the real estate transaction.
This,
Well,
these fees are
we're not
subject to change.
deciding that tonight. I'm sorry, what was that, Peter?
I mean, can't we put something in like, these fees are subject to change over time?
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah.
but
You know,
that's
without, you
true
know, it
always.
doesn't-
Yeah.
You're not nailed down, you know.
But that's always true. You can always
Free
change
spirit.
fees.
Yeah, so the other way to think about this is let's see where we're at
I
after
mean,
3 years.
Actually, is
You know.
September 25 the right year? That's
Well-
September coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded, maybe,
Okay,
but that's up to Ed.
I'm good with it. I mean,
So another way to look at it is simply to say, well, let's start the process now. And in year 3, we're gonna know how many people have paid the $500 fee.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then we can make a more informed decision about how to ratchet up the pressure.
but how hard will it be to change that, is my question.
Won't it be that
Like
we all
now,
just have to
like
vote?
now,
We-
I'm
we
waiting
change our
months and
fees
months
once a
and
year.
months to try and change.
We change our fees
connection
once a year.
fee.
Yeah, but once it exists.
So once a year, we're doing.
Well,
we
I'm
didn't-
saying already, we definitely change our fees once a year, that at a minimum. We do that every year.
Yep.
We have the public hearing, we write the document, we take the vote, we change the fees.
For the sewer usage fee,
Yeah,
but not for other fees. Like I said, I wanted to discuss the
But
connection
that has
fee.
to be in a public hearing. So we just, all I said was, let's,
But would this have to be in a public hearing, is where I'm sorry, I'm asking the wrong, I'm a little slow on this one.
yeah, yeah.
Bob, would you just consider the $1,500 fee for information provided being false and/or non-compliance once observed?
And we just
What does
start,
that
and we
mean?
just start there.
Once they send in something, it is connected to the sewer and they don't fix it.
Oh.
Let's put a fee on that, something.
It's got to be larger than $1,500.
That's the starting point, come talk to me.
Yeah.
I
At
like
least
where
we
Bob's
have-
heading.
Yeah, I know, but at least we have it in there now, and it's $1,500 that we're getting zero now.
I mean, I
And
think
that can
we're.
be changed.
Okay.
To me, those larger numbers just seem punitive. I think we're making assumptions based on a certain percentage,
50% of the water going to Sanford.
no, a certain percentage
It's
of the
not
households
punitive. I
that
disagree with you.
might pay and ignore, because paying and ignoring is better. But there's a lot of households where this is gonna be difficult, and a $1,500 charge is not something they're gonna wanna see, right? And I just think we're opening ourselves up.
They can come in and appeal it.
Craig,
They
I disagree
can.
that it's punitive. They're sending the water to Stamford. It's
We've
not
never had a
punitive.
fine before. This is the first time we're instituting
How much are we
fines, and we're
spending
talking
on
about
this?
$10,000 fines,
How much are we spending on trying to rehab our sewer system?
which
Because all of
needs
this water-
rehab.
Right. Because all this water's coming in and popping the manhole over in front of.
And we're solving
Goodwife
our
Shopping Center.
problems.
We aren't going to solve it if they keep pumping all this water in.
We needed to rehab our system regardless of
We're not going to
people
solve it
sump
if they
pumping to
keep pumping all this water in. We're not going to reduce the
Don't know how
amount
big the problem is yet.
of water that's going to
But, all
Stamford.
right, all right, so think of it this way.
Disagree.
When you, right now, we charge a sewer usage fee,
Yeah.
correct? That is proportional to your
Yes.
usage.
Yes,
As best we can.
So, if you're also putting a sump pump in there, your usage is
astronomical.
is,
yeah.
but you're not
Astronomical.
paying, you're paying a minimal amount, even if,
I understand.
So,
I know
is that
how
fair?
you got to the number.
but is that fair to the people who have no sump pump and who are doing it? I don't see it.
That's
as-
what's punitive. It's punitive to the people who don't have the sump pumps who are paying for the sump pump people putting their water in.
All of that is
I'm going to be on
true,
the other side of you
but-
on this. I just don't
Like
think
I
it's
said,
fair.
profits are private, losses are socialized.
I guess I'm trying to,
Craig,
we're-
You're trying to defer
We're-
coming up with the big
Craig, I'm-
number, and I get
I'm more on your
that.
side here, being compassionate for people that this could be really punitive to.
Yeah.
That's not our goal, our compliance is the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it takes 5 years, it's a goal we get to without really harshly
But-
treating some people that
But
can't
I'm
afford
saying,
it.
but I'm agreeing with you that it topping out at $500 is minuscule.
Totally. They'll just
Sure,
pay it.
there'll be people
Yeah.
who'll just pay that and
And
continue to
$5
send
grand
their
could be that
$45,000
But I'm
worth
not
of water
saying
to
that you,
Stamford.
instead of 500, you say 3,000. I'm
and
saying
then,
it
well,
keeps
the other issue
growing.
is the mechanism here, right? It says statement not returned, right? You could return a statement that says I have a pump hooked up.
Yeah.
Well, but
So I
we're-
like the
we're work-
non-compliance
We're
fee.
working on this. We haven't got to the non-compliance stuff yet, because we need to get this and get it out so that we can get
Exactly.
to the next step.
So let's take the first 3 steps
You mean
and maybe not take the 4th and 5th
No
step, right? Like
$1,500?
just No, so I'm saying I'm comfortable adding $1,000 for 2028.
Okay, all right.
And I'm comfortable adding a $1,500 non-compliance fee for some pumps not removed.
Oh, that's the non-compliance, not the false information.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. That's where I was.
per year.
I like your line fee.
Wait a minute,
though.
what was the
So instead of
non-compliance?
So it's at $1,500.
$1,500 for non-compliance.
Yeah, we know you have a sump pump not hooked up, we're gonna charge you an extra $1,500 every year.
Okay. What is our other, I have one other question on our mechanism. So the person pays the $1,500 because they don't want to pay the $20,000 to fix the problem.
Exactly.
But they sell the house.
We put
Where,
it, we put it.
where is it going to be
we-
so that,
We put it in the lateral file.
so it's not caveat emptor?
It's in the lateral file.
We flagged the lateral file.
Yep.
Okay.
Like we do with the sagging
For non-compliance.
laterals, like the one we had with the sagging lateral, and they didn't wanna fix it. It went in the lateral file.
Big
So
red
they
piece of
can't sell
paper in their folder.
Oh, that's, I just want to know, because
Remember we made that guy, the builder, fix that one that came through the stem wall for the porch that was?
He hasn't fixed it.
Well, he was supposed to. The owner was-
246 Norton Avenue.
I thought he said he was going to fix it if it became a problem. I don't think he
We
fixed
got
it.
back and forth with the owner and the builder.
Yeah, but I
The
believe
owner
that,
knows what's going on now. If the house were sold, it'd be in the lateral file,
Right.
not fixed.
not fixed. Right, because he didn't want to dig everything up.
Yeah, I would prefer to go one more year and raise that from 1,500 to 2,000, where they're both 2,000. So
hard to
2029, 2,000,
I
and the,
think rather than
that
trying to
fee
catch,
being 2,000.
catch people lying, because that's gonna be a big drawn
Yeah, I
out
agree.
saga, it's
Yeah.
the
That's gonna be in
non-compliance.
court.
I would go more for, we know you have a sump pump, you put it on the form, you didn't fix it, here's the fine. You see where I'm going?
Oh,
Catching
yeah,
somebody lying is like having a trial. I didn't know.
That'll be in
oh.
court. It'll be in court.
Yeah, and it's wasting our time.
And
But
our
If
money.
we know you didn't fix it, it's gonna cost you more. And maybe we ramp that way up.
catching someone lying like they took pictures of someone else's sump pump type
People
lying?
do those things,
Well,
but it's rare. In this case,
Building department.
it
Flag
could
the
happen.
connection.
Or they fix it and then they put it right back.
That's, with plastic, that's what I could
You
envision.
and I could do that in 20 minutes. I know that. You could do it in
let's
15.
not get too far on the theoreticals, right? So I'm,
I could do it without a hacksaw.
Whoa,
you know,
blindfolded.
Give me a piece of string, I'll show you how to cut pipe.
And some Flex Seal.
it's a good Boy Scout.
Flex seal.
No, that was a pool guy that left his hacksaw at the last job.
Right.
All
Can you
right.
gues walk me through what you want me to?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Please.
Hold on, let me,
Just a
can I,
simple,
let's run it through.
Okay. So are we good with all the other changes?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that's just
And I'll clean
language.
it up and make it look
Yeah.
tidier, but I want to leave everything on there. so you
So
can
we're
see.
on fees and fines.
We're on
First-
fees and
the
fines,
first
so
3
we've got,
years
we're
stay
adding
where they are.
$1,000 to September of 2028.
What I would do there is $1,000 fee, just replace 500
Yep.
on the every year
doesn't
until after.
stagnate.
Yes, and just so you just say
Oh,
1,000.
all right, so 1,000 year every year until return.
So that gets us to 1,000 in 2028, and we have plenty of time to make decisions between now and then.
And when we get there and we haven't gotten more than
So we have
a third of them back, we can say, okay, that fine
Now
might
we have a
be
$1,500.
$2,500.
Well, at least
Well, we have a
that's-
1,500, well, then we maybe change the structure of this last one,
Comes up again.
right, for Reese, which is a $1,500 non-compliance fee. Either we haven't received the statement,
Or,
or
yeah, it's
there's,
catch-all.
yeah, it's, you haven't complied with this, you haven't sent it in, you haven't complied with its requirements, you haven't removed the sump pump, whatever it is, it's a non-compliance fee. So that's the language we need, I think, in that last one.
Yeah, it goes to
$1,500.
that immediately if year one they report we have a sump pump in the sewer and they don't fix it.
Kind of wrap that in a little ball and send it my way. What, you wanted to read what?
Yeah.
$1,500 fee
Yes.
for any information provided on the statement to be false, or you are found to be non-compliant? Which order do you want it in?
Yeah. Basically a non-compliance fee,
But
which is a catch-all,
Just-
which is,
if we say
Non-
non-compliance, do we not have to put a time period for the compliance somewhere?
this is basically,
The year
Yeah.
later, the year after, it's like the year after they sent the
Basically.
form in.
Well, but I'm saying like right
yeah, yeah,
now, right
if
now
we
we have.
found you had a sump pump,
Oh, we wouldn't hit you right away.
and we give you 12 months to resolve it. And if you haven't resolved it within 12 months, then you're
non-compliant.
Then you're
The
non-compliant.
next calendar year, whatever.
And is it every year, $1,500 every year?
Yeah,
It
and,
could
and-
go up.
yeah.
We could
Or,
change that.
or go up?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Today,
So,
we're
to
saying
help
it's $1,500 a year. In the future, we'll figure it out.
We're changing the last one where it says every year until return to be $1,000.
Correct. So that's easy.
And then there's going to be a $1,500 fee for non-compliance
Yes,
and for providing false information.
Yep,
yes.
that's it.
There we go.
That's it.
Annual non-compliance fee or for providing false information.
And if they don't know what non-compliance means, they can come and ask.
Yes,
I don't think we have to spell out non-compliance.
thank you.
We can have a hearing on that if they want.
Yeah, there we go. We'll have a
We
hearing on
parsed
it.
the atom and a lot of
Moving
issues
forward.
here.
Not tonight, I can. Ed, you good?
Give me 1 second. Okay, the last one, but just want to make sure I get it right. So
And what's
15
your intention? To rip the Band-Aid off, send these out?
I'm gonna rip this right off to our town attorney. He's gonna tell us if these fines and fees are actually legal, and if we're within our authority to do something like this.
Okay. And have you given a heads up yet to the first selectman or the town administrator?
I have not. That would be the next step after that.
Okay.
I wanna get some feedback from Wayne. If he says, you guys are out of your tree, you can't do any of this, then we're back to.
No, we find another attorney.
We have him come in and we talk to him. Come on in, Wayne. You
Yes.
come on in because we want to talk to you.
Or at least put him on the phone so we could all hear from him.
Come on in.
I'm teasing him, come on.
I'm sorry.
It's not like we go to
I-
Awful
each other.
aside.
If you made me permanent attorney, which is sort of, you know.
So if I may, please, just,
Yeah,
I get this right. So $1,500 fee, and then annual non-compliance
fee, yep, annual, yeah,
Or falsification, you said.
or is this you want or,
yeah,
or
Yeah.
for any information provided on the statement that is found to be false.
Correct.
Okay?
So send that to Wayne, see what he says.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have a feeling that.
As soon as
False.
we get this going,
Very
truly, you send me the
questionable.
Okay,
sewer
well, here's
list
my point,
in
is
an
I
Excel
don't
spreadsheet.
want to let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Like, we need to start this process.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm just saying,
So-
I can see a lawyer arguing.
If he waters
false
something
forever.
down, he's gonna water something down, we're gonna go, right?
All right,
We'll go with it.
so everybody in town that has a house is gonna get one?
Who's connected to the
Whether you
sewer?
have a-
Everyone connected
Whether
to
you-
the sewer.
Sewer bill, it's gonna be the sewer bill.
Yeah. So you send me the sewer
You have
bill
a-
in
you
an
have a
Excel
sewer bill?
spreadsheet.
Yeah,
And I'm going to create you a database and we're going to track this.
commercial and residential.
Yeah.
Every account will get one of these.
Yeah.
5,500 or so.
Maybe we move on.
5432.
Maybe we
54,
move on.
32.
Everybody ready to move on?
Wait a minute, after tonight.
No motion.
After tonight, on 54, 32, 33?
2. Click.
Everybody ready to move on?
Do we need to, we don't need to vote on that?
606.
No, just move, fill them, okay.
Superintendent's.
Thank Wayne for listening.
I am very much,
Ed,
And
what do
this
you-
will be the most
Ready.
aggressive in the state. Most likely.
people will be
You're gonna
coming
set
to
the- you're gonna
copy
set the bar
us.
kinda high.
Yeah.
What's
I'd
wrong?
like, I just.
I forgot where the other city.
Agenda
is.
item number 7, superintendent's report.
Exciting.
Okay, I even put a little email in there for you, just to remind you of what we had gotten from ARPA to finish phase 2 as a balance, so we could actually save some of our bonded funds. We were actually given an additional $148,000 to add to that number. So,
Is that like 55%? I can't remember what the.
no, it was just
An extra.
to issue the contract for phase 2, I needed to have the full amount of the funds. And our bonding ran short of the total construction cost for phase 2. Kate set us up to, and Jen set us up to use ARPA fund to provide that balance so we could start the project. And now I'm cleaning up all the ARPA accounts. There was $150,000 that wasn't used, so Jennifer moved it into the
Phase 2.
phase 2 account.
Okay, so
I think
we
the
either
55
can do more
you
work or do less bonding.
I
We're
think
gonna
the
be doing less
55 you're
bonding at this
thinking of
time.
is the
Yeah, we'll do more
reimbursement
work
for
on the end.
SSES from the state.
So by the time we get to phase 3, we'll need to go back through the rounds and get more bonds.
Phase 3, we have the money in place already. Once,
Oh.
we were in the midst of getting that second
Oh, got it.
bonding done, and I
But
wanted
now,
to start phase 2.
but now that's in place. Yep,
Now that's already in place. I think we're bonded out to 4.3 million.
okay. Good.
Okay, that's good news.
Good rate.
Save the Sound annual submission went out
Saw that.
around Christmas time. I gave you folks the highlighted version
Ho, ho, ho.
of what we've completed this year, and what
Okay.
we spent. And that spent is just on construction. There's design and project management costs that are not included in there. That's not what they had asked for, so Lindsay and I decided we would keep it to be consistent with what we put in the previous years. I did get a response back from Save the Sound this year, that they received the information.
Okay,
Unless you have any questions, I'm gonna move on.
please do. Nice to see. 7C.
I'm sorry?
7C.
7C. We have replaced Mr. Bacuzzi, our wastewater
Great.
systems
Tacker.
mechanic,
Yep.
with a gentleman named Dom Zaccone.
Okay.
He worked in DPW,
Oh, great.
has experience with an outside vac company of over 8 years, but he's been with us for about 4.
So you have a position to fill in DPW now?
We do. I'm working on that now, and
Okay.
so he's taking care of the field position, so we're back up to three guys in the field now.
Okay.
And Joanne has moved over from planning and zoning
Oh,
to
wow.
take Penny's position, and she started on Monday.
It's like musical chairs here.
Yeah, Jeremy's real happy with me right now.
What do you all in the draft?
All of this has been, yeah, you solve one problem, create another, right?
Correct. That's generally how it works around here, till you get to the low-end positions, then you're bringing people in from the outside.
Yeah.
D, if you're
Okay,
any questions? The pump station force main repair, we did meet with Arcadis. We did put them on task to start getting us some additional information on how we can address.
to be fair, I think Jeremy did that to you once, but, you know.
He did. Tamara moved over there,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
it's-
Good, very good memory.
Yeah.
You're even.
Even, yeah, you're even.
Goes back and forth. The force main down there, but because of the condition we found and because of the failure that we found, I asked for a meeting. I met with Arcadis, Lindsay, Vanessa, and Scott, and we talked about their work in Trumbull on their force main and what they were doing, and what they came across, how they resolved it, how they analyzed the force main, things like that. And I've asked them to put together a proposal to help me come up with a plan to either line that force main down there, at least the part on our section right now, or put in something to bypass or something like that. They are going to talk to some of their vendors. I'm actually going to meet a couple of the vendors up in Boston at the end of January when they come into town to tote their products. So a couple will be there. So I think I need to keep moving forward on this. My gut feel tells me that, where you have one problem, you probably have something else.
That's newer than a lot of the other force mains, right? 78, 77. You were living there.
1970?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I would
That
say the
range.
surrounding conditions
Yeah,
are
look at
different.
Yeah, the salt water.
Yeah, it wasn't kind.
But there was no way, there's no like magic method of measuring any problems ahead of time on those lines, like that one. We talked
Everyone's
about
like,
that.
well, you can video it, but you'll find the inside of the pipe to be jet side smooth.
That's what she said.
And
Yeah.
where the failure starts on the outside, where it's exposed to the dirt, the acids, the salt water, whatever it is.
Right.
So we're looking at something, whether it's a pipe replacement right now or a bypass pipe we put in and we use it and leave the other one active until it fails and then we switch over. But something, that I'm gonna start planning for now. Any questions or comments? I can see the wheels turning.
Good.
Proactive is always good.
I dare ask this, but how far would you go?
Yeah.
Well, right now, I go from the Nearwater pump station, and
To the
if I'm
valve
gonna
chamber.
tap it, I'm probably gonna, the bypass tap on the inside is probably a whole lot easier to do than digging outside. If I can get a fitting in there, I can shut
Okay.
something down. Even if it's just for one pump. And then go to the junction box, just at the end of Weed Beach
By the
playground
playground.
area, where we come together and we go to two pipes crossing underneath. Now, the two pipes are HDPE,
That's
encased in
the-
concrete.
That's the fuse stuff?
Yeah, so,
So we have redundancy there and relatively newer quality materials there.
and I want to see if I can get us some redundancy on our side right now.
Basically between the pump station and the valve chamber.
Yeah, it's about 1,000 feet.
Okay.
Darren, the last one?
Yeah, it's just informational, right?
Yeah, but it's also,
Let me see.
and it's,
Practice.
it's fairly easy construction, and there's your parking lot that we own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
The last one is just Anthony Tacone wrote a letter. We wanted to keep you guys informed.
the ability to sleep a little bit better at night.
Yeah, and so we were kind of discussing this. So what is the, is there anything in our regs that give them a time frame to fix it, or just until they want to
No,
go
we
sell
just-
the place?
We just keep pestering them.
So there isn't?
There isn't.
Well, we are talking about adopting fees
Yeah.
And
that
I
would
think,
help compel people.
Which may or may not be given the blessing of the lawyer.
Yeah, well,
Well,
So,
So
we're
we're stuck.
moving it forward. We're moving it forward, so we just let it go and move forward and wait.
this is the one where they send it back and they tell us, yes, we're connected. And
Yeah.
then the clock starts on, because we're gonna make a determination on how much time we're gonna give them to make the correction on, is it 30 days, is it 90 days? You give them 180 days, we have to make a determination of when that clock starts and when it stops.
A
Because
third of a
after
year.
that,
So within-
Bob's point, now we need to actually drop a little bit more on,
Yeah.
of a hammer on them.
Yep.
Well, December 23rd sounds like a good start date.
Well,
When you
anyway,
send them the
having
letter.
having a,
We don't have the order.
hopefully we'll have some feedback from the town attorney at the next meeting.
Yeah.
And that would help us feel confident
Is this
with how
part
we
of
might
that
move forward.
larger building complex that the two brothers used to own?
no, you know where the rug place used to, or no, you know where the Complete Angler used to be?
Yeah.
It's behind that.
Yeah, but is that all owned by the same two? It used to
It's
be
the
two
same
brothers.
building, I think, but it's the
That's
building
owned by
between
David
that
Jenkins,
and the
though.
big garage in the back.
He found, that's where Becca Stanton has her grooming place, and
I have-
David
No, it's
put her
next
in
to
there.
Chrisman's, I think, and it's those
Yeah.
two brothers that owned it, right?
I go there regularly to
Okay.
take Blue. We're going tomorrow.
Are you sure that's the property?
Complete angler,
Yeah.
and then you go up the hill, and there's a,
I don't think David owns that.
well, okay, he found her the location.
Oh, okay.
That's why I thought maybe he owned it.
No, remember those two brothers owned it. They put the dance studio above the eyeglass place.
That's over next door.
Oh,
We're
it
gonna
isn't
talk
the
about
same
this
property.
offline.
It's different, that's different piece of property. There is
Okay. All
another
right, that's cool.
Any other-
operational landscaping
Any other questions
operation.
for the superintendent?
E, look, I'm sorry,
E?
F, we'll add one more.
Oh, okay.
Just to let the commission know,
Wait a minute, I need new
Anthony-
glasses, I don't see an F.
Well, he's asking to
there's no handouts.
provide more of an update under the superintendent's report.
There's, somebody's gonna connect one property, they're gonna connect their garage to the main house. Property is not subdividable, 20 Hamilton Lane. Just letting you know, we handle it at the staff level.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect.
Love that one.
No, but it's nice to know.
Any
That's all we need.
other,
That's it.
Any other questions for the superintendent?
Floors.
Okay, agenda item number 8, any new business requests?
617.
Totally Florida.
Agenda item, before we get to it, is number 10 in the right position here?
No.
Or is that just, it should be deleted, or
It's in the wrong position.
Cross it off.
delete it, or do you have something to say about it?
No.
Delete.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, you could just send it to her.
I wondered why after we were
I'd love
adjourned.
to see them, I just don't need them in the packet. I could just use it as a,
Yeah, no, it took a lot of time to put that together
Oh, okay.
last meeting, but, there it is.
well, I didn't need all the minute-by-minute playbook, just
It's the only way I could do it.
Oh,
So I couldn't think of another way to put, it's all in a spreadsheet, which I gave you the spreadsheet. So.
Come on, Craig.
Agenda item number 9.
Well, I would make a motion. And we adjourn?
I'll second it.
I think we did
All
have
those in favor?
discussion.
All right. Yeah.
No discussion.
What do you mean by?